Hello everyone, I'm AloneRacecar and welcome to the show. And today we're going to be playing Forza Motorsport 7, or more specifically, a 10-lap race around the Sonoma Raceway. And the car that we're going to be using is the SRT Dodge Viper GTS race car, in a grid mix between racing and other performance cars. Okay, let's begin. Okay, arriving to the grid now. It's actually inverted, so that means the slower cars will be at the front, while the quick race cars are going to be at the back. Should be interesting. But here we go, as the start of the race has begun. Let's try to get a good position because the first few turns are up a hill here. Look at that, slipping by those Porsches. And now those two Capris there. Okay, that wasn't so bad. We are now currently in 5th. But hey, we've got a long time to catch up at the front. It's only 10 laps after all. But hey, this is a pretty tricky circuit. So I'll be trying to make every turn count when it comes to catch up the competition, and it will be kind of tricky to overtake. And as for my sake, commentate while I am racing. Hey, I'll try to do the best I can, and that's what always matters, yeah? Right, so as you can probably tell from beneath me, this actually isn't no ordinary circuit race because we actually have to take a mandatory pit stop until the race is over, or otherwise my car will explode and my game will crash. Or in other words, I'll probably just get a penalty. But either way, I still take a pit stop at least once. So our pit strategy will determine our outcome of the race, especially when it comes to winning or losing. I have to pretty much strategize on when I'm going to take the pit, but but until then, I'll just try to stay locked and loaded when it comes to handling all these turns and the rest of the competition. Of course, I'll probably leave a little surprise on when I'm going to take the pit stop. But like I said, until then, you enjoy the ride while I try and stay locked and loaded. Well, I try to commentate if I've got something to say at the moment. He certainly does not want to back down. Of course, like always, I'll just try to capitalize on a spot where he or she may be slow. Make my move to overtake the car ahead. And of course not do that. right. Okay, I got him, but let's just hold on. Whew. Okay, we have nicely secured third. Yeah, Sonoma may not be as prestigious as compared to Sebring or Daytona, but it is still pretty renowned for its windy turns, fast straights, and obviously the elevation changes. Yeah, this circuit has been called many things, from being called the Indianapolis Raceway, which what I remembered back then, and for the longest time it was called the Sears Point Raceway, and then for a time in like the early 80s it was called the Golden State International Raceway. But Sonoma is what it's named after. You know, the little region in California is where it got its name from. So obviously it is located in the Sonoma part of California. I'll try to repeat myself. But still, it is known for its demanding road course, and it's also host to all kinds of like motorsports, from the Ferrari Challenge to the American Le Mans Series to the GT World Challenge to the NHRA, Trans Am, IndyCar, and of course NASCAR. Yeah, it's pretty much like a racing circuit or facility that's pretty much fun for everybody. It's almost kind of like that little play structure you might have noticed on that one turn throughout this circuit. Yeah, that would be kind of cool for like the children to, like, you know, try to get the tippy top of that play structure just to see their favorite race cars and drivers pass by. Okay, I'm definitely getting close to the guy in the lead. That Lamborghini Diablo GT-R. I mean, sure, he may be driving a kind of race car, but I'm driving a purebred race car. So I'll have the advantage. But hey, we'll see how the rest of the race goes, and see if he has to take his pit stop before I do. Of course, if I know my rhythm right, I'll definitely overtake him before him. Yeah, let's see if I can try to stay locked and load on this guy. Okay, he's taking the pit now. And let's not touch the tire wall. And now I can say we are now in the lead of this race now, baby. But let's not celebrate now, because I still take that mandatory pit stop. Okay, so now we've got some breathing room. Let's talk about this car now. The Dodge Viper GTS-R is a racing car of the third generation Dodge Viper GTS. The race car had competed in races across all over America, especially during its time in the American Le Mans series. But however, its GTE counterpart also made some international appearances, such as when it competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans back in 2013. Now, this particular one that I'm driving, the number 93 with the red and white stripes, it's competed in the GTLM class at the United SportsCar Championship in 2014, which is now called the IMSA Sports Car Championship. But during that season, the Viper took a big win at the Brickyard Grand Prix at Indianapolis, as well as being a pretty consistent contender with regular podiums and another win in Austin, which was able to secure the GTLM championship in both the driver and teams championship. And it was driven by Kuno, Wittmer, and Jonathan Bomarito. I apologize if I said those two drivers' names incorrectly. So yeah, that was a little bit of your history lesson of this car, fellas. Apologies if I may have started a little bit. Okay, still hold on to lead right now. There was some a little bit catching up to me, but yeah, that's okay. Let's see what I can do to try to extend the gap now. Especially if I want to, get a decent pit stop without sacrificing too much of my position. Kind of find funny that throughout my time of playing racing games is that they always seem to get the sound of the Viper correct. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to sound the same all the time, especially with its tone, but it's kind of hard to do its distinctive 8-liter V10 engine noise. I mean, the Dodge Viper does have a very distinctive engine noise, so it is kind of hard to do wrong. Okay, I run the 8th lap now. I think this might be a good time for me to come in for my pit stop now. Let's try and stay locked and loaded on these turns to try to extend the gap behind me. What I can there. You see the entryway of the pit lane coming up? Okay. I think I pit now. Okay, seems that the guys behind me haven't taken their stop yet. Okay, they're coming in the same time I am. Well, this is a pretty long pit lane, so this could leave some room for the other guys to catch up with me. Okay, filling me up, put on some new shoes on me. Okay, I see the rest of the competition is catching up now. It's coming out of the pit lane now. Okay, we got lucky. Just in time for the rest of everyone else to catch up. It's always a gamble when it comes to taking a bit of a more later pit stop. But hey, I didn't regret it. As we have 2 laps to go now. now let's slither our way through the rest of this racetrack. With all the snake puns since I'm driving the Dodge Viper. Like the Viper snake. Rest of it's going to be just like what I practice now. Hey, the race ain't over until I cross the finish line on the final lap. If anything could happen, I could just like wipe out or something. Kind of getting late in the race, so I guess I can probably tolerate that, but still, I'd hate to take a bad wipeout to the point where I end up losing out on this race. Okay, this is it, the final lap. If we can just hang on the rest of the way, we'll have our victory. Hope that my commenting has been somewhat decent this video. A little worried that I try to difficult when it comes to racing hard, but also trying to commentate by what I have to say about anything I have to say, what I have time to say and all that. Or whatever I was trying to say. Okay, we are definitely out in the lead right now. Whether it be by luck, skill, or just overall driving the better car, we're certainly out on a dominating lead right now. A couple more corners to go. Not do anything stupid or ambitious. Okay, here we are with nobody else to catch us now. An absolute dominating lead on the late stages of this 10-lap race circuit at Soma. Or whatever I was trying to say. But it doesn't matter because now we're going to be crossing the line to take the victory. Oh, this certainly was a race when it comes to concentrating, but also trying to make every turn count. Especially on a race like Sonoma. Yeah, happy how the rest of the race went. Definitely a real pat on the back. Okay guys, that was quite a race. Now before all the adrenaline settles down, let's take a look at some action shots from the race replay. And that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Sometimes it takes a gamble when it comes to taking the pit strategy early or later in the race. But other than that, I hope this Forza 7 race still showcases some awesome Dodge Viper performance, as it always has in other racing games. But anyways, guys, I've done my part. This was AloneRacecar, and I'll see you in another one.